What's going on, everybody? C4, welcome back to the channel. Today we're here for a new Madden 23 rebuild. We're going to go 5 years with the most requested team that we've had on the last couple rebuilds, the New England Patriots, and we're going to try to bring them back and get Bill Belichick one more Super Bowl before he decides to call it quits and hang him up. And I'm going to be honest, I did not think the Patriots were this average. I thought they were, you look at this team, you look at guys that are in their prime that are going to be super high ceiling players. Not a whole lot of them, honestly, on this squad. You look at the offensive line, it's a solid offensive line. It's a solid team. Look at how everyone has dev trades, not a lot of normal dev starters, which is great. You got Cole Strange, which is kind of a head scratcher in the first round of the 2023 NFL draft, but, there's upside there. But, you got Owenu and Wynn, you got some upside. Mac Jones, obviously, has some upside, but everyone else, it's not bad, it's not good, it's just kind of meh. Then you flip to the defense, and it's a little bit more of the same. On the front three, you got Barmore. He's a nice-looking player. Judon and McCourty both have superstar devs, but they're both two of the oldest starters on this team. Kyle Duggar's decent. He's 26. Uche with the dev trait. Pepper's there as well. I don't know, man. I was expecting the team to look better. And maybe it's just because, since Brady's gone, the Patriots aren't in our face as much, which is a good thing. That got old, that got tired. It's time for the Patriot fan base to deal with a couple down years after 20 years of being the best team in football. But as far as a rebuild is concerned, I kind of see why you guys have been pushing and recommending me to rebuild the Patriots, because we got a lot to fix, a lot to correct if we expect within a 5-year period to try and win another Super Bowl. But before we get into the team previews, as always, guys, got to do the terrible YouTuber thing that I hate doing, but I got to ask if we can continue to try to get 1,000 likes, the like goal on every single video, as well as leaving comments in the comment section below about what team you want to see rebuilt next. That makes the YouTube robots happy, and it also helps my channel out, so I very much appreciate each and every one of you guys that do that. Let's take a little look here under the hood of this roster. So starting in the quarterback room, we have Mac Jones, who I'm not going to say outright is a game manager, but I think our path to success in this rebuild is to make the Patriots like Alabama. We're going to need a very good offensive line. We're going to need very good wide receivers, and I think we put all those around Mac Jones, he's going to be able to take this team to the promised land. I don't think Mac Jones himself is going to be a guy that elevates lower-rated wide receivers. I think we're going to have to definitely get better wide receivers than what we currently have on the roster. But I think there's definitely a player there in Mac Jones. 2378 with the star dev. We got Brian Hoyer here with the mentor tag. So Mac Jones will be getting that extra XP for as long as Hoyer's in the building. We'll try to actually just keep resigning him to get that XP boost. But, my plan is to go the full rebuild with Mac Jones and see where he can take this team. Running back room, it's, you got some guys here. Pierre Strong from the draft class. Ramondre Stevenson, good power back. And Damian Harris is going to be our lead back, 25 years old, star dev, 82 overall. He said we want to be like Alabama. Let's just get a lot of Alabama players. He's solid. I'm a little worried about what his ceiling's going to be if he does not pop another dev trait. If he does not break out to a superstar. He seems like a guy he'll just be a guy, 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns, 7, 8 touchdowns, and that's fine. And that's fine. But it's not going to be like, those other rebuilds where you have Christian McCaffrey, where you have Jonathan Taylor, all these guys going for 2,000 yards rushing, just putting up ridiculous. I don't know if Damian Harris is going to be that guy. If he is, I'll be pleasantly surprised, but that is not really what I'm envisioning here. Wide receiver room. So they traded for Devontae Parker from the Dolphins, 29 years old, 82, has that star dev. You got Aguilar, super expensive, start at 29. Kendrick Bourne, solid. Jacoby Myers might have the best upside because he's pretty much Damian Harris, 25 years old, 80 overall with that star dev. He might make the full 5 as a wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3. They drafted Tyquan Thornton out of Baylor, 6'2", 95 speed. He's a fun looking Madden player, but it's he got a long ways to go. I'm pretty sure he's normal dev, right? So ultimately, it goes back to what I was saying about Mac Jones. I think we need to make this team like Alabama. Right now, we don't have the wide receiver. As far as I'm looking at this, big picture, I think Myers can be counted on as our wide receiver 3, our slot wide receiver. We need 2 outside wide receivers right now, and we right now just have a very much expensive, low-tier starting veterans. Tight end room, a little bit better. Very expensive, though. They have a lot of money invested here in this tight end room, and unfortunately in Madden, You know, two tight ends just doesn't. I haven't found a playbook that heavily uses two tight ends. We got Hunter Henry, who's an 84 star at 27. We also have Jonnu Smith, who is a 77 star at 27. Solid players. Are they game changers? Are they X factors? Unlikely. We're still not dealing with the updated rosters as well. Asiasi was released for $1 million there, but it's just we have to overhaul this receiving core. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That is one of our top priorities. Offensive line, where it gets a little bit better here for the Patriots. You got Trent Brown at left tackle. He's getting up there in age a little bit, but still should be solid for most of this rebuild. He's an 85. Left guard, we got the rookie Cole Strange, which was a very surprising pick. Honestly, Belichick's kind of starting to lose his mind a little bit, I think, as far as its draft prospects are concerned. But I mean, Strange, by all accounts, very athletic guard. And as long as he can make that jump from small school to the NFL, sooner than later, it might not be that bad of a pick, even though there's no matter what way you cut it, was a reach. You got David Andrews, nice veteran center. We have at right guard Mike Owenu, who's one of the more higher upside players. He is 24 with the star dev. On the offensive line, the plan is to obviously have him as one of the pillars for this whole rebuild. And Isaiah Wynn at right tackle, 79 star dev at 26 years old. I think the right-hand side should be good. I don't think we have to worry about replacing either one of these guys. Rest of the offensive line, depending on regression, depending on contracts, we might have to consider it. Flipping to the defense. We have Dietrich Wise at defensive end. We have a Lawrence Guy at defensive end. One's 32, one is 28. I'm not seeing any one of these guys that's getting double-digit sacks. You look at D tackle, you got Christian Barmore, Devin Godshaw. Barmore's good. I think of the front three, he's the guy that we're most likely going to be able to rely on for the majority of this rebuild with the dev track. You know, again, we're trying to be Alabama. Let's keep getting Alabama players, I suppose. Linebacking core, you got Matt Judon, outstanding. Probably, you know, you can make the argument he's the best player on the defensive side of the ball for the Patriots. Very good pass rusher. For the rebuild, for Madden, he's 30. So he's pretty much at his ceiling. He's only going to regress from here on out. And I say that, sadly, as someone that just recently turned 30, that I'm saying that this guy's an old man, decrepit old man, and he's just going to suck for the rest of his life. He's as good as he's ever going to get. It is a shocking reality for me to have to understand that as well. Middle linebacker, we got Juwan Bentley, who's serviceable. Mac Wilson, Devy, just, you know, a couple guys, a couple flyers here or there. And a right side linebacker, Josh Uche, could be an interesting guy for us. 74 with the start. I've only 23, so he's young, upside, speed rusher. I'll be interested to see if he can be one of those guys that just finds a way to get a lot of sacks. Maybe a potential for dev trait, superstar, you know, plus. Keep on going on there. But again, it's just like kind of like it's an okay room, could be better. It's like that's how you look at every position so far as we continue to go through this. It's like, it's okay, could be better for almost every position here for the Patriots. Jonathan Jones is our top-ranked corner. He's our slot 81 star dev at 28 years old. Still kind of surprised that they let J.C. Jackson walk because you got Jalen Mills, who's going to get meaningful snaps, Terrence Mitchell, Joanne Williams, Miles. I thought the Marcus Jones was a pretty good pick. Guy's a goddamn great special teamer. Could also be a nickel. But then you're kind of overlapping. Like, all right, we got a nickel corner here. Rookie nickel corner. That could be pretty damn good. And our best corner is also a nickel corner. So it's a little weird. Free safety, you have the veteran Devin McCourty, who's outstanding. Jabril Peppers has some upside still. I mean, he's fizzled a little bit from the hype that he had when he was coming out of Michigan. To 82 star, 26. Got to figure out a way to get him on the field, honestly. Strong safety, we have Adrian Phillips. We're going to be going with Kyle Duggar. Same rating, 4 years younger. Might as well go with the guy with the dev trait. And there's just our special teams. Is what it is. We got our picks. What do we do? How do we fix this? The fact that I just looked at this whole roster and I feel sleepy kind of makes you think that where's the excitement coming from this Patriots team? I think it's going to be on us to bring the excitement to this Patriots roster. And I look forward to trying to do that over the next 5 years as we try and win Bill Belichick one last Super Bowl. All right, well, we'll say credit to Devontae Parker. Year one, he wants to take Tyquan Thornton under his wing, and we're getting a nice +2 release, +2 deep route running boost for arguably the guy with the highest ceiling of our wide receiver room, the rookie out of Baylor. We have a camp standard, which is Christian Barmore, the best upside player on our defensive line. So we're going to help him continue to rush the passer, because I think he's our best shot at getting a lot of sacks on the D-line. +3 power and finesse move. That's a great upgrade. Year one for the Patriots, I'm thinking it's somewhere between these two, where our year one goal should be. We'll under-promise and hopefully over-deliver by going with 7 wins. All right, right before the trade deadline, right before contract extensions, I want to just try to move off some of this dead weight. The team's not really going anywhere. So we're going to send Nelson Aguilar. I went up for the trade block. Some of the trade block offers were pretty unrealistic. I could have got a couple star dev players in return, but the Titans are very much a wide receiver hungry team. Someone like Aguilar could be a nice veteran presence along Bobby Trees and Treylon Burks. So we're getting a 5th round pick this year, a 4th round pick next year for Aguilar, who's 82 star dev. We're also able to get a 4th round pick from the Jacksonville Jaguars for our veteran strong safety, Adrian Phillips, who just wasn't sniffing the field this year with Kyle Duggar firmly ahead of him on the depth chart. So it is now contract extension time. I'll say credit where credit is due. A lot of these guys do have interest in returning, which is great. The Patriot way is alive and well. First up, we have Isaiah Wynn. We'll give him a 3-year, $24 million deal. Not bad for a serviceable right tackle. Devin McCourty's an interesting one. I feel like you almost just need to offer him this because you need to. So we're going to go ahead and offer him that. Like if we let McCourty walk, I'd hear it in the comments from Patriots fans. We got Damian Harris, who, again, I think he's solid to give the opportunity to be our lead running back for this rebuild. We have Jonathan Jones. I wonder, actually, we can give him a 2-year deal, keep him until he's 30. Great nickel corner. Still has some upside. Don't need to worry about regression. Jabril Peppers is an interesting one. Right now he's playing as our 3rd safety. He needs a bigger offer to overcome the lack of role. That's annoying, because in terms of upside, he is one of our few players with a decent amount of upside still. We're going to get Jakobi Meyers, who, while I don't have overly massive plans for him, I think he's a great wide receiver 3 to have for the remainder of this rebuild. But it's not looking good for Jabril Peppers. Now, I will say if something crazy happens, like Peppers pops a superstar dev like I have seen in other rebuilds, we might have to make this work. And the end of year one for the Patriots, we'll reach our goal of 7 wins. I'm not too pumped with the fact that we are last place in the AFC East. Look at the big picture, though. We had, take a top 10 passing offense. All things considered, looking at these stats for the squad, old man Brady's leading the passers. Mac Jones, pretty good. Almost a top 10 quarterback in both stats. 4,900 passing yards, 35 touchdowns, only 12 picks. Those are really good numbers for him. 1,100 yards, 12 touchdowns for Harris, 7 vultures for Ramondre Stevenson. Devontae Parker, a little bit of a career resurgence there, 1,200 yards, 8 touchdowns, 8-5 for Myers, 8-6 for Hunter Henry. Tyquan Thornton with a ridiculous 23 yards, receptions, 600 yards, 9 touchdowns for the rookie. Defensively, Kyle Duggar, even more insane, 110 tackles, 3 TFLs, 2 sacks, 6 picks. Give that guy a dev trade. Josh Uche broke out a little bit. 80 tackles, 11 sacks, 17 TFLs, 10.5 sacks for Judon. I'd say Barmore might be the only guy of like our big dogs on defense that I'm a little bit disappointed with. But all things considered, Kyle Duggar, good night. What a monster. Looking at the yearly awards, MVP goes to Matt Stafford. Thought he might have had an outside chance of making that list. Offensive player of the year goes to Bobby Trees. TJ Watt, defensive player of the year. Offensive rookie of the year goes to Breece Hall. Tyquan Thornton coming in number 3. Defensive rookie of the year goes to Derek Stingley. And then for the individual awards, I'm not overly optimistic we'll have anybody here. Maybe Duggar. Nick Folk. Damn it, man. I'm going to be disappointed if Duggar doesn't go up to superstar dev. Folk, we got the best kicker. We'll take that. He's just peaking now that he's like 43. He's always been a reliable kicker. I actually picked him in one of my fantasy leagues. So we'll send him to the end of the season here, see if we got any dev traits, and then we'll get in the offseason. Year one finishes with the Cowboys defeating the Titans in the Super Bowl 38-31. Dak Prescott is your MVP. I always like to double check at these dev traits. And there's no bad news. No one lost a dev trait as far as I can tell on the offensive side of the ball, which is fine. No progress, but is what it is. Defensively, we did get the dev trait increase for Kyle Duggar, who had absolutely an insane season. And Devin McCourty, going from superstar back up to an X Factor, makes me feel a little bit better about, signing a guy that's 32 to another contract extension. Thought Uche might have had a chance. That would have been dope to get a 24-year-old superstar pass rusher, but he still at least performed really, really well. And I think probably another good, strong season, he'll be in line for a dev trade increase. We got a decent amount of money to hit the open market. So we're going to look here at 2 upgrades at positions that I think we absolutely got to get better at. First is on that front 3. I don't know if we're going to have Deron Payne go to nose tackle, move into one of the other spots, move Barmore. We just need someone that's not just Christian Barmore on that front 3. And Deron Payne would be a massive upgrade. And he's really interested in coming and taking and adopting the Patriot way. And then I'm thinking, why don't we try... I'm not going to overpay. There's not a lot of interest there. But they poach away one of the better linebackers in the division. Tremaine Edmonds would be phenomenal playing in the middle of this defense with Jawan Bentley. So we're going to take a swing. I don't know if we're going to get both of them. We did not get Edmonds. We got Deron Payne. It's good enough for the first offseason. We have a top 10 pick. 10 on the dot. A little bit of a tough call. 3 positions I want to get. I want to get a middle linebacker. I want to get potentially a corner, which is a really good play right now. I'm looking at Jonathan Bennett. Or I need a nose tackle. And I'll tell you right now, these guys, they're not in every draft, but every time you see one of these monsters, they're clear as day nose tackles. They're almost always studs. We have Boone, who has some crazy reps on the bench press, right? We got this, there's another guy down here, Thad Battles. Stats don't look, he's 360 pounds, 45 reps in the bench press. We also have Junior Moss, 334, and he put up 40, like, can't miss. Just wait and grab those guys. Those guys, I guarantee, I don't know if we'll get both of them. We only really need one. They're going to be, 70 with a dev trade or something crazy like that. So for me, it's middle linebacker, and I think the best of the bunch right now is this guy, Dylan Canty. Does have a first-round grade, A tackle, B zone coverage, B block shed. Doesn't have the A zone coverage I like to look for, but he easily has the best combine out of all the linebackers that can potentially move inside and play with Jawan Bentley. Or we have this corner, Jonathan Bennett. B press, B zone, C man. So it doesn't look elite, but at 6'3", absolutely is an outside corner, which you could, the combine's not too shabby, all things considered. Look this way, there's more linebackers I like than there are corners that I like. Like, you look at some of these other corners, maybe this guy, you get all C's if he's still there in the 3rd round. He also can play on the outside. You know what? Screw it. We'll go Canty and hope maybe the corner's still there in the 2nd round. We got Hidden Dev, 90 speed. Obviously, he's not going to be an outside linebacker. You're going to kick him inside. He's going to play with Jawan Bentley. But reason why we go in depth, if you guys are drafting in your franchise modes and you see a defensive tackle that's 330 pounds plus, draft him. All right, so look at the corners that are left. There's 2 that are kind of in consideration. We have Daniel Hobbs, who's a slot. Combine's average, but he has decent-looking base stats there. A with catching, C's fairly safe to project. But I think the guy that looks the most appealing is this guy. Javier Linton from Buffalo. C catching, C man, B press. Might have a chance between A and C on zone coverage. So there's really no weakness to his game. He has outside length, and he has the speed. Speed is the most important thing you want to look for the combine. 3-cone and 20-yard could be better, all things considered, but I think I'm not going to be expecting a dev trade on this guy. He doesn't have the freaky combine, but I'm expecting he'd probably pull something like 70, 71, 70 plus. And we're right about the dev trade, at least. Hopefully the rating is at least pretty decent. 3rd round, we're pulling the trigger here. That's the highest bench I've seen. 46? Baller. I don't know, the dev might not have one. 40, I want to see what we're popping here, man. Hidden Dev, 99 strength, Junior Moss. And there's still like 2 other one of these freaks, 330-pound monsters that we could draft if we really wanted to. I'm going to do it just to prove a point here. We got Thad Battles. He's the thickest of all the boys. 6'2", 360 pounds. I get freak monster. He's got to be a freak. Obviously. All right, we're set. Let's see what we got in our draft here, man. I just want to see these D tackles. They're going to be hilarious. I didn't get any more hidden devs, but look at the 70s. The wave of, a couple worm burner picks here for sure. We get a 71 kicker. And this guy was actually one of the more crazier kickers I've drafted. Todd Youngblood, 95 kick power, 80 accuracy, had 70 plus speed. Take that for a kicker. That's a pink slips kicker if I've ever seen one. We got 65 guards, 62 linebacker. And this guy actually got kind of duped here. He was like a 2nd, 3rd round projected grade. He actually looked good. He had A zone coverage. 62 ended up being the worst of the class. But we got this wide receiver, Niles Dixon, the burner, 71 normal, 95 speed. So we'll, just adding some depth there. But Battles and Moss, both hidden devs, both massive human beings. Battles with 97 strength, 99 for Moss, both with hidden devs. I'm telling you, again, can't repeat it enough. You see one of these freaks, and they're not always, and they're often, I would even say, not first round guys. They're in a day 2, day 3. Just get them. Even if they're not scheme fits, just get them. Have just a hilarious run stuffer on your team. Linton in our second round. No dev, and I was saying, well, 70, 71, 74. No dev trade, which kind of sucks. But given, our secondary, he might just slot right in, get some playing time as a rookie. But luckily, our first round pick did absolutely hit. Dylan Canty, who's going to be our new starting middle linebacker alongside Jawan Bentley. 75 with the hidden dev. Great athlete, great sideline to sideline speed. That's a hell of a draft here. Good draft, year 1 for the Patriots. Year 2 for the New England Patriots, and our squad is largely the same on the offensive side of the ball. One thing that we have a tough decision is, Bourne gives us the best chance now, but we're losing some pretty valuable reps for Tyquan Thornton the longer he has to kind of sit on the bench, wait for his turn. I think we go still with the best players we possibly can on offense and not think about development. Defensively, it changes quite a bit. We are going to go with Barmore, Payne, and Moss at the front 3. Barmore with the superstar. I'm hoping we get some goddamn pressure after the quarterback with this front. Uche, Canty, Judon, Bentley make up the linebacking core. We have brand new dev traits for both of our safeties. And Linton, our second round corner, gets the opportunity in the slot as a rookie. So last year, our goal was 7 wins. We got 7 wins. So this year, natural progression, let's make the playoffs. So for contract extensions here in this season, this is honestly the toughest one, I think, out of all of them. Just because of the age, he's 28, so he'll be 32. What's Hunter Henry at 32 going to look like? I feel like that there's a chance that'll be in the 70s. But for as it stands, whoa, he wants more seasons. I'd rather Hunter Henry than Jonnu Smith, all things considered. We have Trent Brown at left tackle. We'll give him very player-friendly just because it's so tough to get freaking tackles, and he's going to... he's not going to regress too much throughout that contract. We got Kyle Duggar, who was simply outstanding for our team last year. Absolute animal, leading tackler, 6 picks, went up dev trait. For Devin McCourty, I feel like we just got to have him here until he retires, honestly. Even if that contract's not particularly great value, I don't think we'd be spending it, at least next year, 2024 cap, in free agency, better than Devin McCourty for the most part. Mike Owenu, we don't want to let him walk. 25 years old, so we'll have to come in 45, probably close to 45 million. We'll get him re-signed. We will come back. We got Uche. Had 11 sacks last season. I want him to continue to develop for us. And unbelievable. So the good news, I was able to get Michael Owenu on a 6-year deal. We had to overpay. And this is kind of the good part of Madden 23 free agency. Is before previous Maddens, I'd figure out a way to re-sign all of these guys almost every single year of every single rebuild if I really wanted to. I have to make decisions in Madden 23. I get annoyed trying to do this free agency. But that must mean it's good when you're annoyed at something like this, because it's hey, we're not just going to straight up let you keep all your best people. So I'm going to give Uche an improved offer. I really don't want him to leave, and we're able to lock him down, man. Coming off 11 sacks last year, I bet he can do even more, and now he can with that long-term contract extension. Year 2 comes to a close, and we go 8-9. Our goal was to make the playoffs. I would have counted. I would have took it, even if it was ugly, even if we were 9-8, like the Jets were this year. That's not a great record. It's not a sexy record for an 85 overall team, but I would have took playoffs. We failed for our goal. And that is not what we're really looking for right now. Taking a look at our season stats in year 2. Maybe that will explain why we weren't so great. And Mac Jones was not hot. At least not prolific. 25 touchdowns, 10 picks. We got 1,300 yards, 17 touchdowns for Harris, 8 tutties for Stevenson. Devontae Parker and Hunter Henry both had great years. Of course, those are the 2 guys that I'm pretty sure are most likely going to be hitting free agency, just because we don't have any money. Defensively, we got Dylan Canty, our big pick, absolutely playing like a big pick. Pretty much gave him the stat line, minus a couple picks that we had with Kyle Duggar a couple years last season. 124 tackles, 3 interceptions. Sacks, we got 19 TFLs, 10 sacks. Judon, 9 sacks on 15 TFLs for Deron Payne. Uche, only 5 sacks. Not really justifying the big time payday we gave him, but again, we're still buying into the upside a little bit. And I always just personally hate, I know interceptions aren't the be all end all. I hate it when my linebackers are leading the team in picks. Makes you just feel like you messed up, Aaron Rodgers is the MVP, just burning quickly through the award winners. Dylan Canty is the Defensive Rookie of the Year, so there should be an added dev trait on whatever his dev currently is. And that's how we're going to close this little segment out here as we try to put the cap on a disappointing season. Looking at it, I mean, Mac Jones might be down to normal dev. I'm happy. I'll say that. Devontae Parker straight up lost all of his dev traits. That is the only change on the offensive side of the ball. Defensively, what are we working with? So Canty, wasn't he hidden dev? Don't tell me he lost a dev trait, dude. Okay, we'll give him properly the superstar that he should have. Dylan Canty, we got a new superstar linebacker who, I mean, come on, man, this game's so... It gets better. It's better, okay? The dev trait, progression, regression, it's better. Still not perfect. Still has hiccups. Still has brain freezes every now and again. Like, guys, come on. Should be some sort of, like, eliminator in the algorithm that is like, all right, he's going up a dev. This is triggering a dev trait increase. That should, whatever, under the hood, trigger first. And if that happens, you immediately eliminate any other chance that he could go down. I don't know. It's stupid. Maybe, I don't know. Am I right? Am I wrong? Who knows? We got Moss here just to start at battles. The rookie lost his dev. We'll fix that later. I got time for this right now. But we have, a superstar linebacker. That is what we gained in terms of dev traits here. All in all, just a really underwhelming season 2. I feel like we have an opportunity here to have a massive free agency period, so it is best to get our books in order. So we're going to take Devin Godchow, who we don't need him. We got 2 350-pound monsters with dev traits just waiting behind him. Also, Jalen Mills, the Green Goblin. We are going to move on. And the last assessment was really of Jonnu Smith. That's an interesting one because Hunter Henry is going to free agency. We just didn't have enough money. But like, if someone like I've seen some freaky tight ends pop up in free agency. If there's a big upgrade, we'll pay, maybe even overpay for that tight end, and then get that cap relief by releasing Jonnu Smith once the deal. But we don't even know what the market looks like yet. I just want to have as much salary as possible before we look to go spend. So we're going to try to flex our muscles here a little bit. We got CJ Henderson, start of corner, Noah Fant, superstar tight end, and if we make this move, we will release Jonnu Smith, Jordan Brooks at linebacker, and T. Higgins at wide receiver. I think we have a good shot at really all these guys. Now, Atlanta sneaking in here a little bit for CJ Henderson, so we'll go back. We'll offer him a player-friendly deal. He would come in, be our corner 2. We're outbidding the Falcons. Oh, he picks the foul. What an asshole. We did have a backup plan in place. Michael Ojemudia, start of a little bit less talented, but still good for our secondary. And, of course, the last piece of this offseason before we get into the draft is surrounding the most polarizing player from year 2, Mac Jones and his 25 passing touchdowns. Well, we can think about year 1, and he was actually pretty damn good year 1. And I can ultimately just say we're committed to Mac Jones for at least one more year of this rebuild. So at pick 14 in the first round, this is where I'm like, well, I was thinking DB, corner. We're probably getting one more year out of Devin McCourty at safety. And I look at like just straight up BPA at this point. And BPA for me right now is Brandon Hill at a USC. And I'll show you, we're going to make a great pick in the second round. We're going to trade up in the second round. I'm going to save that surprise for later. But I think we got a good player here, Brandon Hill. Should pop a dev trait, great athlete. And I think we have our successor to Devin McCourty when he inevitably retires. Back on the clock, pick 14 in the second round. And here's why we had a little bit of a luxury to like, well, we know. What if McCourty gives us a couple years? We got a great player. It's more so bidding for the future because we have the value pick. I wanted to scout wide receiver. And even with signing T. Higgins in free agency, I still think we could have competition for that third spot. Can't just give it right away to Tyquan Thornton. And look what we found here. Nothing about this guy screams a good pick, but we absolutely did our homework on all the wide receivers. Jaden Springs at a TCU top 5 talent. He has to be some sort of crazy dev trait. Combine it's not brutal, 8th and 3rd in the 3-cone, 20-yard shuttle, 4.4 in the 40. It's a C4 time right there, back in high school, 4.44. Fastest time on the clock. This guy's got to have a drift. He didn't know what? What about this guy's just top 5 if he's not popping a dev trait? Draft recap for the Patriots. First round, more of a succession pick. I don't know if he's going to see the field a whole lot as a rookie, but a lot of upside here for Brandon Hill. Hit a dev 74 out of USC, the successor for Devin McCourty. Then we get our top 5 true talent player. Great rating. Don't really know how you get a 75 rating from the information that we scouted, but weak draft class. If 75 normal, top 5 in true talent in said draft class. Rest of it was just getting solid depth. No one, I don't think we've yet to have a pick below a 60. They probably are out there somewhere. I've seen them, but it's just average depth moves for the most part. We did most of our damage, most of our big leaps in terms of improvement through free agency. Year 3 for the Patriots, and as we are seeing, this is really the first year that we're taking like massive steps. We've invested big time in the squad. We paid top dollar to, keep Trent Brown and Wenu in-house. We got Noah Fant, superstar tight end. Hopefully that can elevate the offense a little bit. Get Mac Jones off those 25 touchdowns, which just, quite frankly, isn't good enough. Same can be said for bringing in the powerful T. Higgins at wide receiver, 6'4", 216 pounds. He's like the N'Keal Harry that they tried to get, but then, obviously T. Higgins way better than shitty-ass N'Keal Harry. Defensively, we brought in Jordan Brooks to help out the middle of the defense with Canty, our superstar defensive rookie of the year. Hills, this is actually a shocking development. Devin McCourty retired like preseason. So Hill, who we drafted to be his successor, gets to play right away. So hopefully he doesn't have this whole like thrown to the wolves effect and he can hit the ground running. We also had to get Michael Ojemudia kind of like as our secondary top corner target after we were unable to secure the services of who was it? I don't even. I was so disgusted they turned down my offer. I can't even remember who it was. But we got Ojemudia, and star dev. Hopefully, he can play at a decent enough level to keep that dev trait up. We have Linton, and we drafted a year ago. Normal, but still a fairly decent player. Overall, I think this is a very good team. Absolutely playoff caliber team. We had 7 wins last year. We're going to the playoffs this year, and that is going to be our goal. So we're about mid-season, and we just beat the, we had a little, I would have said, I'm not even going to engage with it. We're not going to hit it. We beat the Colts 31-26, and Mac Jones pops a superstar dev. I don't even know. He needed 350 yards. Something ridiculous like that. And for him to get that in a 30, usually if you see something like that happen once in a blue moon, and he did 350 passing yards, he goes 359. You cannot deny Mac Jones needing to get that depth trade. Maybe that's what we're missing. All right, our team's been okay so far, 7-5, right in the hunt there for the AFC East, but we're also not really running away with it. Let's look at our contracts here. We got David Andrews, your lineman in it to the ground. That will. That's the one thing for the last 2 years worth of Madden rebuilds. Edge rushers. What else do we got here? Bunch of our depth is up. I'm going to say, we'll pay Judon. I think all things considered. We got Barmore. We'll give him a 4-year, very player-friendly deal to get him locked up. And I feel like Judon, 85, what's he going to look like into those 2 years? It's probably not going to be great. But he is still playing. Oof. He's still playing like our best pass rusher, so we can't let him walk. Okay, Mac Jones is on another level. Week 14, right after the contract's extension, so the teammates are happy. We beat 37 points up, 5 touchdowns, 343 yards. Mac Jones, he has taken his game to another level. And finally, it has happened. We have made the playoffs. We go 11-6. Jets somehow have the tiebreaker OS to be the divisional champion, which is a little annoying, but at least we had Mac Jones kind of go nuclear this year. Close out the year. Year started out kind of slow. Got the superstar dev, and I think he got offensive player of the week 2 times after that. Finishes the year 5,300 yards passing, 38 touchdowns, to 9 interceptions, almost 70% completion percentage. Playing like Baker Mayfield, in the Panthers franchise. 1,400 yards, 15 touchdowns for Harris, almost 6-10 for Stevenson. He's having a great year. He's going to cash out in free agency. Congrats to him. Noah Fant, worth every penny. 104. We're getting those Gronk tight end numbers here. You know? 1,100 yards, 4 touchdowns, 11 and 8 for Jacoby Myers, 1,000 yards, 3 touchdowns for Higgins. Thornton, also pretty damn good as well, 680 yards, 10 touchdowns. On the defensive side of the ball, Jordan Brooks, another one of our free agent signings, leads the team, 96 tackles. Michael Ojemudia, another one of our free agent signings, second the team with 95 tackles, 5 interceptions. We thought he was like last second, man, we missed our top corner. Let's just get Ojemudia. Outstanding season. Uche led the team, 10.5 sacks, 9.5 for Judon, 7 for Barmore. Ojemudia with those 5 interceptions. Exceptional. We have the number 1 offense in the NFL. This guy is the MVP. Mac Jones coming in number 8. For the individual awards, what do we got? Come on. We got to have at least a Patriot or 2. Mike Oweno is Lineman of the Year. That could be a superstar dev on the books. What? We only get 1? I mean, 1's better than none. If we can get a superstar on the line, I'll take that. Considering we also got a contract extension. He's got to be here for the remainder of the rebuild. But we start our playoffs here in year 3 against probably the only team you don't want to see in the first round of the playoffs, the Kansas City Chiefs. That is a tough assignment. And in our first playoff game of the rebuild, we have to wait another year to try to chase that final Super Bowl ring for Bill Belichick. As, the Chiefs. You hate seeing the Chiefs in the playoffs. Year 3 finishes with a Bengals-Cowboys Super Bowl, with thankfully the Cincinnati Bengals beating the Cowboys 42-35. Man, whenever we get this first title update for Madden, can we make the Cowboys a little less overpowered, please? They're not even going to win the NFC East this year. It's ridiculous that they're in the Super Bowl 50% of the time. I bet you that's not by design. Looking at our team as we clear out our lockers, Mac Jones is a superstar. Uwenu goes up to a superstar. And I think that is it for dev traits on the offense. On the defensive side, a little bit of shuffling around here, a little bit. Judon lost superstar, I think, down to a star, unless he was already a star before the season. We kind of missed it. I know Deron Payne lost his superstar. He is down to a star dev. Hill, who was hidden dev at free safety, popped as a star dev. Kyle Duggar lost his superstar. Jones lost his star. And Ojemudia didn't get an upgrade for having all those interceptions, having a little bit of a breakout season, which is a little disappointing. So we lost a little bit on the defensive side of the ball, but I think none more important. Mac Jones is now a superstar going into year 4. That's good enough. We'll take that. Smile on my face looking at this team right now. For free agency, we're going to be pretty aggressive. Look at this. We're going to get the best kicker on the market. I'm just trying to think, like, how would Bill Belichick build this team? If Evan McPherson, Bill Belichick absolutely loves elite special teamers. And then we get Asante Samuel Jr. Now, his dad played his best football, arguably, I said, as an Eagle fan for the New England Patriots. Doesn't seem like his dad loved the Patriots, but you know, the bloodline is there. It's like recruiting in college. You know, you got a family member. It's a, I don't know, there's a word for that. But, you know, we're going to, it's not really nepotism, but it's going to be nepotism. We're going to get Asante Samuel because his dad played here. That's why we also need help at corner. And Evan McPherson because Bill Belichick loves his special teamers. So for our first pick into the draft, pick 23, I think I want to get a successor, at least something in the pipeline for Matt Judon. And I think the best right now is looking like this guy, Braxton Love out of Syracuse. I mean, it doesn't look like a home run, but we got B tackle, B finesse. The block shit is a little worrying, but the combine is as good as you can get. So maybe he just has a dev trait, and we have to grow and develop a little bit. He doesn't even pop a. I'm not gonna lie, his draft class looks like absolute shit. I didn't pick up the 5th year option on Cole Strange, in case we don't come to terms. Nate Monroe looks pretty good. A awareness, B impact, B pass block. Eddie pops with the dev trait, so we might be able to save a little bit of bucks there and move on from Cole Strange. So here's our draft recap, and you know, not that, honestly, I didn't love the draft. 72, 71 outside linebackers, no one below a 65. Wish our pass rush was a little bit better. 70 normal dev is a tough draw, but my favorite pick is Nate Monroe. Our Cole Strange insurance policy in terms of contracts. You know, free agency again. I think we side with where did we make our most improvement. We got depth through the draft, and we got 2 starters in free agency. Very quickly, looking at our Patriots team ahead of year 4, we have superstar Mac Jones. That's really the biggest change to the offensive side of the ball. Looking at the defensive side, a little bit of sprinkle here in from free agency, adding Asante Samuel Jr., hopefully going to be able to follow in his father's footsteps. Ojemudia of a 5 interception season. I really think, even though there's only silver guys in this secondary is going to be very good this season. So our goal for year 4 is the same as it was last season. I would love to actually see if we can get an outright AFC East title. You know, close this thing out with the Patriots back to dominating the division. But once again, here in year 4, it's to make the playoffs and go on a little bit of a run. Mid-season, give or take, of year 4, and just to show that it is possible, we are currently first place in the AFC East. And it is time to look at our final contract extensions. Guys, we want here for the full rebuild. Oh my God, it's going to be, of course, time to pay the piper here for Mac Jones. Give him a player-friendly deal. I don't even want to just think about how much money we just gave him. You know what I'm saying? It's best to just be like, we got Mac Jones, that's fine. We'll give Isaiah Wynn a 3-year deal, keep him at right tackle. We got Jacoby Myers, he's been solid. I guess the argument comes, can we do better on the open market? But he really wants to stick here. Anytime I see a guy that we're on the fence about, but the interest meter is definitely trending in our direction, and I was like, you know, you like what you want to stay here, I want to reward that. Same with the punter. We'll pay a punter. Tyquan Thornton wants to bounce. I don't blame him. Cole Strange is still decent, but we got the dev trait guy who can move on. We could save that money, leave that nice little chunk, $19 million as a cap, and then get maybe potentially one big scale-tipping free agency signing that, in case we don't win a Super Bowl this year, sets us up best to kind of do it all or nothing, Super Bowl or bust year 5. Year 4, my God, the Jets need to frig off. Still denying us our AFC East title. We go 11-6, tied with them again. I don't know how they keep getting the tiebreaker, but back-to-back years must got a horseshoe up their ass. But we made the playoffs. Responsible for us making the playoffs. Mac Jones continue. I mean, at least it's not that 25 touchdown year. I'm very happy with those numbers. 4,900 yards, 39 touchdowns, 7 picks. We got 15 and 17 for Damian Harris. He's absolutely crushed it. Patriots have always kind of been a good sim team as it relates to running back numbers. 1,200 yards, 10 touchdowns for Noah Fant. I think we can also learn that, hey, if you're getting ready to do a Patriot rebuild, make sure you have a good tight end. A good tight end absolutely thrives in the Patriot offense. Everyone else kind of had a little bit of an off year. Defensively, Dylan Canty led the team, 117 tackles. Duggar and Asante Samuel also went over 100. 10.5 sacks. Uche. We don't have prolific pass rusher. That's maybe been something we haven't had, but we're rocking the 3-4, and 3-4 teams tend to have spotty sack numbers, to say the least. Seth, top 10 offense in the NFL. Dak is your MVP in the AFC. Let's see, is there any of the good guys? Carlos Lockley gets, I'm gonna tell you right now, couldn't tell you what position this guy plays, but shout out to him. Wide receiver? Carlos Lockley. There's no way that's like a lineman, is it? Like, how am I so uninformed with my team? Let me double check. Let's see who the hell Carlos Lockley is. I like to think that I know my team well enough to be like, yes, of course, Carlos Lockley. Dude, I don't even see this guy. He's our RB3. I think I saw he had a couple vultures there, like 6-7 touchdowns. Unreal. 98 yards, 8 touchdowns, and he's the wins the offensive rookie of the year for 98 yards. Alrighty, let's get this over with. We got the 90. Ravens absolutely look juiced to the gills as far as a team. I'm not gonna be really mad at that. They were 91s across the board. They're arguably a better team on paper than we were, and if we would have beat them, you know, we'd be calling. You know, that's ridiculous. So we're gonna, again, that's why we kind of saved as much money as we possibly could as far as contract extensions were concerned, because I had a feeling this was gonna happen, and you can still see, man, we need a needle mover or two more for us to feel confident that we can bring a Super Bowl here before this 5 years is out. And we're hoping, you know, takes two to tango though. We need there to be some big names on this open market as well. Year 4 ends with a, good to know for other series. Carolina wins the Super Bowl. Matt Corral, Super Bowl MVP. All right, we'll bookmark that reminder. Take a look at our squad. This is going to be the make or break here. How many guys went up, Dev? How many guys went down, Dev? Mac Jones lost his superstar. Shit. Noah Fant went up to X Factor. Okay. Defensively, we have, as far as depth traits, Josh Uche is up to a superstar, and no one else went up or down one. So, I mean, stings a little bit that Mac Jones lost. I didn't think he played poorly enough to, like, just assume that he was going down depth trait. But we sacrificed superstar on Mac Jones to get X Factor on Noah Fant and get superstar on Uche. I think overall, pass rush, we need some help. Maybe that takes Uche to the next level. So it is our final free agency period, which means we got to go all in, man. You don't want any extra cap room. It's not like the realistic rebuilds. We don't have just like the insane final window. We got to go for it here. So I got DEEBO Samuel hit the open market for the 49ers. That absolutely seems like a Bill Belichick guy. The versatility he brings to offense just ticks a lot of boxes. We got Kayvon Thibodeau as our pass rusher now. This is like one of those weird ones. We're not officially the top offer, but we also have the best offer. So I am optimistic we can get Thibodeau in and get a little bit more of an upgrade, a little bit more explosiveness over the veteran Matt Judon. And then Kenny Moore in the slot, if we can land him at corner, also seems like a Bill Belichick guy, to be completely honest with you. So we are able to get all 3 targets, got enough money to pay our draft class where hopefully we can find a new starting center, and we're ready to go win a Super Bowl here in year 5. And at pick a 20, we got to go best center, and actually looks like it's a pretty strong center class. I got 3 guys that I would feel comfortable selecting. Might as well, it's Bama. We've had the Bama connection. So we got Ed Drayton, A run block, A impact, B pass block, and the combine is outstanding. Second for the bench press, 34 reps. This guy's going to be good. Maybe no dev. He does about the dev. I was going to say maybe high rating, no dev. He probably has both. I'm going to say this guy's going to be probably 73, 74 right out the gate. That's a great day 1 starter at center. It's really rare in your final draft that you get guys that can start, and that's exactly what we got. Drayton, 76 hidden dev. He's going to be one of the top players in this draft class. Filled out with some, decent depth picks. By all means, Daniel Connor, 74, strong safety. He popped with a hidden dev, more of a run style, but he could be that third safety, sneaks on the field. Couple 70s here as well. I want to see how our center, do we get is this a year that we went in the draft needing a center, and the center ends up being, wow. We might have had more value there, and Juan Simmons, 76 center in the 3rd round going to the Dolphins. But technically, number 1 true talent. So here it is, our final Patriots team going into year 5 of the rebuild. Drayton, our hidden dev center, got unveiled. It is star. So the O-line there, again, playing at a very high level. Noah Fant, X Factor. We got DEEBO Samuel, Super Bowl or bust type sign. Even if it wasn't, I do think DEEBO, perfect fit for a Belichick offense. I think he would love having a weapon like DEEBO Samuel on his offense. So glad we can make that happen. And hopefully that helps Mac Jones, who unfortunately has regressed back down to a star dev head of this year 5. But I still think he's going to be playing at a high level. And I don't think just because he lost the Goldie Boy dev, he's going to get back to throwing like 25 touchdowns. I think he should be good now with more weapons than ever. And on the defensive side of the ball, very happy to bring in Kayvon Thibodeau. I think he's, time, maybe there was a little bit of rose-colored glasses, is that what they say, when we thought about Judon. He was getting up there in age a little bit. Probably shouldn't have given him that contract. We did. Sacks didn't really get much better, but Thibodeau gives us a great opportunity. Him on one side, the new superstar Uche on the other, for us to make some damage here this season. Secondary, we got Asante Samuel, Michael Ojemudia. We signed Kenny Moore. He will be our slot, so it'll be Samuel and Ojemudia on the outside. Kenny Moore in the slot. I think, it's year 5. This is it. We are staring down the barrel of a failure of a rebuild. That's why I have no complaints when we end up winning a Super Bowl year 3 or year 4. Takes all the pressure off. We are now here year 5. We got to go for it, man, or else this ends up being an utter failure. Year 5, hey, you know what? We spent the big money in free agency to get results like this. 13-4, our first AFC East title of the rebuild. But we're back on top. Bill Belichick back on top. Top 4 offense, top 4 defense. Both sides of the ball, man, at all levels. We could beat you so many ways. 4,800 yards, 41 touchdowns for Mac Jones. Definitely a big boost having DEEBO Samuel out there. 1,500 yards, 18 touchdowns for Damian Harris, the reigning defensive rookie of the year, who had under 100 yards last year. I mean, that's a good 1-2 punch. On the receiving standpoint, DEEBO Samuel absolutely crushed it. 83 catches, 1,100 yards, 11 touchdowns, 1,000 yards, 9 tutties for Jacoby Myers, 1,000 yards on the dot for Noah Fant, almost 1,000 yards for T. Higgins. Outstanding production from our top dogs there. Defensively, Canty, Brooks, and Moore all going over 100 total tackles. 14.5 sacks, Josh Uche. 12.5 Thibodeau, who's kind of brought in, obviously, as a mercenary on the defensive side of the ball to try to get us over the line here in year 5. 11.5 sacks for Barmore, 7 from Payne. So our defense, in terms of pressure, hell, even turns of turnovers. This is just the best this team has been as Asante Samuel leads the team in interceptions like his dad did so many years ago. Patrick Mahomes is the MVP. Wow, no one on the Patriots even make it. That's a little disrespectful, if you do say so myself. We straight up had no one getting individual awards. But literally, as I'm recording this, the title update has gone live, and I wonder if it will change free agency just a little bit for the better. You know, I think there needs to be a balance between last year Madden 22 free agency, where there was never any surprise free agents, versus where it's at right now, where, like, you know, you get Herbert, Parsons, Trayvon Diggs, all these X factors are consistently in free agency. It's good when you get a role like that, and I also think generally free agency, I would skew it towards more unrealistic, so it's funner. But there's a balance between keeping free agency fun, making free agency fun, and having it just be absurd. And right now it's kind of in that absurd range. So hopefully that got tuned down. And I did see there was a couple of fixes here for free agency, so we'll be able to see that in the coming rebuilds. But here we go. What a rivalry renewed here in the first round of the playoffs. We are taking on the Colts, dating back to the Manny Brady rivalry. I don't know if there's any other beef. Like, I don't think the coaches, I don't think Bill Belichick and Tony Dungy ever had beef. I don't really, maybe I'm blanking. I mean, I'm not super, I always kind of hated this. It was always shoved down your throats. But Peyton Manning versus Tom Brady was the rivalry for a good 10 years in the NFL. Get to rekindle that a little bit here as we look to go on a Super Bowl run. I feel like we probably should be hopping in and play. Well, we'll see what happens, man. I feel we're 4-point overall favorites. We get past this one, we'll go into the AFC Championship game, and we'll see what happens. Oh, it's the Jags. We handle business 37-31. If we want to go to the Super Bowl, we got to run through the AFC South. Jags handle the Chiefs. Thank you for that. And in this matchup here, well, thankfully for Damian Harris and our rushing offense. Outstanding 4 total touchdowns for them. T. Higgins had a big game. Defensively, we had a couple, 1 sack. No turnovers. Defense was held pretty quiet there. But, I mean, this score wasn't even 21 points in the fourth quarter. We were probably resting our starters at this point, right? And then it bit us in the ass. Had to take them to overtime. Sealed the deal. And now it is time for the AFC Championship game against the 3-seed Jags. We'll sit front row there because we're going to make the Super Bowl. Let's go. Foxborough, baby. The Jags don't beat us at Foxborough. Whoa, okay. That really looks like we had 3 turnovers. Like in the span of the first drive. Okay, down 17-0. What the fuck? What? This is unbelievable. Oh my God. What did we do? What did we do to upset somebody? Holy fucking shit. Best team in the league. 48-17 is how this rebuild ends. Jesus Christ. Like, it's going to take me a little bit to get super salty with the state. I mean, you know what? There's a title update. Maybe it'll play a little bit better. And sometimes, you know, just stupid, uncontrollable things happen. And for the most part, here in Madden 23, for our rebuilds, you know, the better team, when we build a good team, is one. This is, I think, this is probably our second rebuild? Third at the most that hasn't yielded Super Bowl. So the percentage, or hit percentage of successful rebuilds has been great. But that was, you know, this might be so far the most harsh, the most unbelievable, most unrealistic final performance that we have had. That was just stupid, man. Unbelievable. Look at the final stats here. Through 5 years, Mac Jones up to 28,000 passing yards, 200 touchdowns to 60 picks. We got 8,500 rushing yards, 96 touchdowns for Damian Harris. On the wide receiver front, as far as like homegrown guys, really it's only Jacoby Myers, almost 7,000 yards there, 40 touchdowns. Defensively, Kyle Duggar, 600 tackles, 17 picks. We got 52.5 sacks for Josh Uche. Barmore, 34 sacks. Interceptions front, 17 Duggar. Ojemudia, I feel like he had most of those with us, to be completely fair. Canty was probably our best prospect overall that we drafted. Superstar after winning Defensive Rookie of the Year. 448 tackles, 20 TFLs, 8.5 sacks, 8 interceptions for him. But is this just one of those ones? Here's a perfect example. There's some rebuilds that we've lost. Like, I can't, what was the other one that we lost? It was the, wasn't the Bears, was it? No. But like, it almost feels like if you lose a rebuild and you look back at it, you could go, where did it go wrong? Why didn't this work out? And I'm just not necessarily seeing it here, fellas. Like, I don't, like, what did we not have properly here? You know, you put it this way. Here's what I could say. One thing, if I had to say, go back and do it again, I wind up trying to get bigger name free agents before year 5, I suppose. You know, get those X factors. We didn't really ever have a prolific game changer on the offensive side of the ball until we brought in DEEBO. You know, Noah Fant did his thing. We had some pretty good numbers from Higgins and Myers. But we never had that guy that's like, all right, that's our guy. That's our go-to. That is a guy that's going to help our offense out. We never really had that till year 5 to help support Mac Jones. And we started this rebuild. We said we got to kind of build Alabama. We got to build a freaky offense around him. And maybe we didn't do that soon enough. Defensively, you know, I think we've been solid. All things, I don't really think there's much different we could have done on the defensive side of the ball. You know, again, it goes into like maybe we get a pass rusher, a successor to Matt Judon sooner, but that didn't really exist on the open market. It wasn't like there was a edge that we were missing. There was. It was Micah Parsons, and I don't want to sign the super unrealistic guys every single year. So, yeah, I guess you know that's probably my closing statement, and to try to not be upset and say Madden sucks and the Sim sucks and this sucks and that sucks. To look at it a little bit more critically, if we can. We said at the beginning we had to build Alabama around Mac Jones, and it took us maybe too long to build an Alabama-esque offense around Mac Jones. But we did not deserve any way, shape, or form to be losing 48-17 to the Jags. You know? But, you know, it is what it is. You win some, you lose some. That's the beauty of and why I really like doing regular rebuilds and realistic rebuilds. Not so much because, you know, the draft classes and not draft classes and stuff like that. But, you know, it's an opportunity that if, for this one, example, Patriots, this time around, you know, we got robbed. You know, and it's almost like you want to restart, you want to redo, you want to run it back. Well, by doing 2 different style rebuilds, we have another opportunity here in the Madden 23 season to run it with the Patriots and to try and get Bill Belichick one last Super Bowl. But that'll do it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. As always, your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. We're very close to 160,000 subscribers on the channel, so I'd love to hit that goal sooner than later. Smash that like button if you enjoyed. I'd like to get 1,000 likes on every video. That is the goal. If we could try to reach that, that would be awesome. Leave a comment in the comment section below about what team you want to see rebuild next, as this Patriots rebuild was the most requested rebuild, so I hope you guys did enjoy it. From that standpoint, we built a super team. Madden just didn't want to help us out today. It is what it is. It happens. But thank you guys very much for watching. We'll be back tomorrow with a new episode of the Carolina Panthers franchise. Stay tuned to the More C4 channel, our second channel. There will be some Eagles content dropping today and tomorrow as well. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching, and peace out.